Welcome to Emikicchin cooking channel. Today's menu is Osso Buco, which I'll be serving with a side of a Milanese risotto. Osso Buco is a dish that's originated from Milan in the northern regions of Italy. I believe the dish is made with veal traditionally, but I was only able to find beef today, so that's what I'm using here. Just starting off by chopping up all the veggies. You don't really have to chop them up too finely because we'll be stewing these away for like a good 2 hours. So as long as they're kind of finely diced, that'll do the job. This dish was a lot more easier to make than I had anticipated, although I think having a slow cooker would make life much easier. First things first, make sure you finely chop up your garlic, onion. I'm only using about half a carrot here because I'm only cooking for 2 people. Again, just feel free to double the recipe as required. I'll have the recipes uploaded in both Japanese and English towards the end of the video. Now I'm sure there's a better way out there perhaps to dice carrots, but I'm using my technique. It's worked for me, it'll do the job. Some of you might find this strange. I actually peel my celery. It's just something my mum's done as well. I don't really like having the fibrous strands. I feel it just sometimes interferes a little bit with the dish. What I was entertained about is that my husband, who hates celery, didn't even realize that there's celery in this dish, so it might be a good sneaky way to sneak in some vegetables for your husbands and kids. Now, just prepping the actual Osso Buco slabs here. Make sure to season both sides of the steak with salt and pepper. And now that we're done with the preparation of the meal, we'll be starting to cook. Just heating up some olive oil here in a pan and popping the meat in. We're really just trying to get some color on the steak. We're not here to cook, so once it's brown you can just flip them over. I am using quite a deep pan here so that I could use it to saute my vegetables and then to simmer the Osso Buco. Once you're happy with how your meat looks, you can remove them from the pan and add in all your veggies. If your pan's looking a little bit dry, feel free to add in a bit more olive oil. Remember to give them a bit of a stir so that your veggies don't burn. I am cooking them on quite a low heat here though. As I may have mentioned earlier in the clip, this was my first time actually cooking Osso Buco, so I just followed a recipe that I found online. However, I feel like I could have probably added in a few more vegetables, so I think next time I make this dish, I might add in maybe some zucchini or even some mushrooms. Maybe some capsicum. I think that should go quite nicely. Now, once the vegetables are looking pretty ready, you can add in your can of crushed tomatoes and some chicken stock. I'm just using 1 cup of chicken stock here. And I also believe that traditionally you are supposed to put in some white wine into the dish, but I didn't have any handy. I also wanted to see how it would turn out without adding any wine, as I find a lot of dishes with wine in them can turn out quite rich, maybe a little bit too rich for my palate, so I just wanted to see how it would be, and I actually really liked it. I've also added in here my 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, dried oregano and bay leaves. Now we're going to let this just gently simmer away, just adding in my meat back into the dish. And going to cover it also in the sauce to really help it to soak up all the flavor that we've created. The Osso Buco here has been simmering away for around an hour, maybe 75 minutes at this point. So I've decided to start my next element, which which is my Milanese risotto. I actually had a packet that I bought from Italy, so I'm just using that today, so I'm not really including a recipe. But as with any risotto, make sure you're adding in warm broth to your rice a little bit at a time and let it slowly soak up the broth. Once it looks like this, you're ready to go. And now just checking on my Osso Buco here. That is looking gorgeous. Time to dish up. I've got my risotto alla Milanese or Milanese risotto. It's yellow in color due to the saffron content inside. I had to get a spatula at this point to get the meat onto the plate because the meat was that tender and ready to fall apart if I was to use my tongs. This sauce was absolutely amazing. It complemented the risotto really well, but you can use mashed potato or some creamy polenta or even some pasta. And just now making a very quick and easy caprese. Juicy tomatoes served with mozzarella cheese. What could go wrong? Amazing. Now I love incorporating tomatoes into our diet. It's full of lycopene, which is an antioxidant. It's been shown to reduce risk of heart disease and cancer. They're also a wonderful source of vitamin C, vitamin K, as well as potassium and folate. Just struggling here to get the presentation just right. I think I'm happy there now finally. For a caprese, I like to keep my seasoning very simple. Just a bit of salt, a dash of olive oil and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Still a bit sad that I couldn't buy basil this week, they were just too expensive. That's home cooking for you though. Anyway, here you have it, Osso Buco with a side of caprese for dinner. And we've got the recipes here for you as well. And that's it for the Osso Buco video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and feel free to drop in the comments if there's any recipes that you'd like to see being done in future videos. Thank you.